Hello, me lords and ladies, and welcome to another episode. Well, I guess our first episode of the Warhammer Armageddon box, where we're going to be painting up some Blood Angel figurines, some intersectors. So, first off, I want to say thank you to all the YouTube members. You guys are going to get early access to this on Sunday whenever YouTube decides to upload this. It does take a long time, so yeah, but thank you. Anybody who subscribes, if you're not a subscriber, it's the first time watching it, subscribe, don't. Hit the thumbs up, don't. Hit the bell, don't. Fairly easy video. Without further ado, let's go. Okay. So obviously the first thing you're going to do is build the miniatures. Now this box took me a while. I'm not going to lie. You're probably thinking, these are Blood Angels. What are we using Baal Red for? Just trust the process. Trust it. So after building them and I put them on their bases, I did not put any base paste down, as you can see. What I did do is glue them on, and then I spray painted them in black and then did a vastly amount of white from above. There are some black undertones, but for the most part, it's just white. So the first thing we're going to do is obviously paint all of the armor with Baal Red. Now you kind of want to take your time with this. Baal Red is not really a paint that pools up, but you don't want too much. You don't want to go crazy on it. It will get a little translucent on that white, so you might need a little bit extra in certain spots, but you're just basically hitting up all of the armor. So obviously the legs, the hands, the shoulder, pauldrons, the face, the jetpack. I guess that's not a jetpack, just the pack in the back, and all of the rear end stuff as well. So just be cognizant. Try not to get this red onto anything else because it will stick there. It is a very bright color, obviously. It is not easy to go over. And the black areas, it's fine, but if it's a lighter color, it's almost impossible to fix it. So take your time. Okay, and this is how we make it a Blood Angel. We take some Blood Angels Red, about 50-50 mix of Blood Angels Red, put a little bit of Lahmian Medium in there, so like I just said, 50-50, and we're going to put that all over the Baal Red. We want that Baal Red to stick through a little bit, but it'll give it that tone of the Blood Angels Red. It's super easy. This part's super easy. I know painting in that Baal Red was kind of time consuming, but yeah. So once you're done with that, let's move on to some Black Legion. So we're going to be painting the rifle in Black Legion, all of the crevices between the armor in black as well, just certain parts here and there that you'll see here in a moment. And as you can tell, I did not get enough paint from the Black Legion onto this paintbrush for a hot minute, so it looks very translucent. I couldn't figure out why. Well, my paintbrush was not getting enough paint on it, so it wasn't really flowing on there, but we get it fixed. So you can, if you really wanted to, you could paint the whole bolt rifle with the Black Legion, even though there is some metal and there is some gold areas. That little skull that's on the side is going to be a gold area, but we can always go over that with the gold. It's not that big of a deal if you get it on there. We're also going to use this on the holsters as well. So each holster, the one on the side, and the pistol holster as well. Now for the Purity Seal, we're going to use some just quickly Volupus Pink. Easiest part of painting that miniature right there by far. Well, this part and the next part. And then the scripts, the Purity Seal pledges, I guess you could say. And don't make the same mistake I did. A little bit of that pink got on there and I got to fix it. But just use a little bit of Skeleton Horde on there. For the grenade, and you can see that I did get some of that Baal Red on there, so that is going to stick through, but we're going to fix that in the highlights section of the video. So again, it's not that big of a deal. We're just adding some depth to it before we put on our main color. All right, for the metallics, obviously we have several, and again, I did not get enough Iron Warriors on this brush. I don't know, I was having a problem today. I don't know, maybe it was early. I don't remember. I'm just having problems. And then we're getting some stuff on the backpack as well. Don't forget the underneath on the exhaust pipes for the Iron Warriors. As you can see, I'm getting right here. And just be a little careful. You could always go over it with red again. But you want to save time, so you just try not to make as many mistakes as you can. That way you can save as much time as possible. All right, coming down to our last two base colors, we're just going to paint the handle grip on that pistol with some Cygor Brown. Very, very easy. And then for our last color, some Retributor Armour. And obviously we're going to put this on the side of our bolt rifle and then on the chest as well. Now this is kind of a pain because there's part of it that's touching the rifle, so you just got to be a little careful. It just takes a little extra time. But it's not difficult. Blood Angels, this is the first Blood Angel I've ever painted. Obviously, I've painted other Space Marines, but so far I actually enjoy it. All right, not a lot of washing to do. We're going to do all of our silver metallics with some Nulin Oil. So that's obviously on the bolt rifle. There is some on the helmet as well. And then the back on the pack as well. I also put some of this on the actual black portions of the bolt rifle. You don't need to. It's up to you. But I did it anyway. Once you are through with that, you can do one of two things. You can take this Fyreslayer Flesh, which I feel like it gives gold a much deeper look. I'm a big fan of Fyreslayer Flesh straight out of the pot onto gold. Or you can do Reikland Flesh Shade, or you can do Agraxor Shade, or you can do Seraphim Sepia. It's up to you, but I think Fyreslayer Flesh really makes it pop once you highlight it. It's my new jam for gold washes. All right, starting with the highlight step. Now, if you are satisfied the way that it looks with just the washes or the Baal Red and the Blood Angels that we put on, you could keep it, but I want to clean this up. I want to make a little bit the armor look smoother. So we're going through all of our smooth surfaces, all of our edges, and we are painting Evil Sunz Scarlet on there. The armor, to me, is obviously the focal point of the miniature, especially when we do the highlight of the edges. That's kind of like the quintessential part of Space Marines. That's what you see is the armor. Does it look smooth? Does it look good? And to me, that's worth the extra time. Now, these are just intersectors. They're just the basic grunts. You might not want to waste as much time on these if you're just trying to get them on the table. But I have problems, and I want them to all look good on the battlefield. And that's why I have never played Warhammer in the last 30 years. I'm just too busy painting because it takes too long to paint one miniature. But we're going through all of it with some Evil Sunz Scarlet. All right, for our edge highlighting, we're going over all edges. So get the thinnest brush you have. Try not to get very much paint on there. You're going to be reloading your brush quite often. And the thinnest point you got, and we're just picking out edges. I mean edges on top of edges. Anything that's got an edge, we're going to hit it with this Fire Dragon Bright. Now again, this takes a lot of time, but in my opinion, in the end, this makes the miniature look 10 times better. And as you notice that with that, I got a little bit too much of a smudge on there, so I just quickly hit it with my finger. Smudge goes away, move on. But this to me makes it look 10 times better than what it was from just the two colors that we put on there. And I typically either listen to music or listen to an audiobook. While I was painting this, I finished book 7 of the Dungeon Crawler Carl series. Phenomenal. I moved on to book 8, and I'm just so impressed with Matt Dinneman and the story he created inside of that world. Just phenomenal. I'm sure there's a lot of DCC fans out there. All right, once you're satisfied with all of your hedge highlighting, now that did take a considerable amount of time if you did do it. I know it did, because it took me a considerable amount of time as well. We're just going to pick out a lot of the highlights on the gold areas. Just picking them out, nothing too crazy. Now, if you do get some gold on there, you can just take some Evil Sunz Scarlet and fix whatever you got on. For our metallics, we're just going to take our Leadbelcher, and we're going to be picking out a lot of the raised areas for our bolt rifle and other, small areas on the miniature. I also did a little bit of edge highlighting with this as well on the bolt rifle, just to give it some dinged up, combat looks, just on the railing system and whatnot. That is obviously not necessary, but it just, adds a little bit of depth to it. Again, you got so many of these to paint. Do you have time to paint them? Paint it like this? Do you not? It's up to you. I'm also doing some other edge highlighting. That's the one thing with Space Marines. There's a lot of edge highlighting. And I'm just picking out the holsters and the pouches, just doing some edge highlighting, just creating a little bit more depth in it. So when you look at it, you can see that it does stand out just a little bit more. I also did this on the grooves in between the joints of the armor. This is really, really not necessarily, but I did it anyway. I did some pink horror on the purity seal as well. All right, Ushabti Bone for the seal parchment, obviously. So we're just going to pick out some of those areas. Obviously leave those recesses that have the skeleton horde there. I couldn't think of it. Just keep those there. For the grenade, I know this shot right here is not the greatest, but we're just picking out the raised areas on the Interceptor's grenade, and all that red that we did get on there accidentally is now covered up. So yeah. The worst part of painting any miniature is the eyes. We're just going to put a little bit of white in there. Try your best. Less is more. And then I'm doing some Tesseract Glow. I know it looks yellow on here, but it's not. Trust me. It's more of a greenish. It's a greenish yellow. So yeah, and we're just throwing that in there. And if you get some on the outskirts, just get a wet brush and clean it up. All right, this is how I'm going to do my base. I'm going to start with some Black Templar. I guess I could have skipped this portion of it and put it on that rock. And then I'm going to take some Astro Granite. I'm going to slap that on the base. Now, I tried using a tool. It's like a little clay tool and didn't really work that well. So probably be better if you use a brush. That's why I'm looking at the shacks. I'm like, wow, this stuff isn't going on here. Once it dries, you can use Black Legion like I did here, or I'd probably say use some Black Templar since we already used it on the rock and it's more opaque. You can do this around the rim of the base and on the base itself, and then let that dry completely. That process took a lot longer than it did, or that I wanted it to. And then we're just going to take a quick little dry brush of Dawnstone, and then with some gray Seer that you'll see in a second. Now, this is just how I did mine. I do my orcs in a different way, and we're going to show you, if you saw the Wednesday video, they were a different way, but this is how I do my Space Marines, just to make them look different. And that is it. That is all she wrote. You can use that formula for any Blood Angel that you would like. But we're going to be doing some more Blood Angel videos because there's the heroes, jump packs, everything. So, well, thank you for watching. Again, I want to thank all my members for watching the video and helping this channel tremendously. Can't thank you guys enough. And like I said in the beginning, you guys will get early access on Wednesday for all YouTube members. We got a lot more Armageddon. We have City of Ash we're going to work on. Still have Darkwater. Still have a bunch of Chronicles of Drunagar, Kingdoms Forlorn, Aeon Trespass. I mean, we have a bunch of stuff that we're going to be working on, so please stay tuned. Hit that subscribe button if you like watching miniatures being painted or learning how to paint miniatures. This is the channel to do it. All right, I love you all, and I'll see you on the next one. All right, paint on.